Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, my friends, and welcome back to Westpol, the home of explanation of the Holy Qur'an from a Shia perspective. Two different explanations are used. Today's explanation is by Al-Mizan, while the other are by Ayatollah Puya Yazdi. If you are new to this channel, kindly consider subscribing to support this work of bringing to you the explanation of the Holy Qur'an. Also consider sharing this with anyone who might benefit from it, be they Sunni, Shia, or non-Muslim. Thank you, and let's start.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful, the Ever-Merciful. This surah was revealed in Mecca and consists of 5 verses. It presents the story of the riders of elephants when they marched toward Mecca to destroy the holy Kaaba. God destroyed them by sending flocks of birds to pelt them with clay stones until they became like eaten straw. This was one of the great signs of God, which was not hidden from anyone. The people at the time, before the advent of Islam, chronicled this event and incorporated it in their poetry. First verse.
ألم تر كيف فعل ربك بأصحاب الفيل.
Have you not seen how your Lord dealt with the riders of elephants? This is a rhetorical question which implies a negation. What is meant by seeing, ruya here, is patent knowledge, which is compared to sensory observation for its clarity. The meaning is, do you not know what your Lord did to the riders of elephants? This incident occurred the year the Prophet was born. Second verse.
ألم يجعل كيدهم في تضليل.
Did he not render their stratagems in loss? Tadlil. Their stratagems were their ill-willed plot targeting Mecca and their intent to destroy God's sacred house. Tadlil is synonymous with idlal, misguiding, leading astray. What is meant here is that God took their efforts off course so that they would not find their way to their intended goal. They set out to destroy the Kaaba, but ended up destroying themselves. Third verse.
وأرسل عليهم طيرا أبابيل.
And he sent against them flocks, ababel, of birds. This verse and the next one interpret the last verse. Did he not render their stratagems in loss? Ababal is said to mean separated groups, differentiated clusters, such as squadrons of troops. The meaning is, God sent dispersed flocks of birds upon the riders of elephants. Fourth verse.
ترميهم بحجارة من سجيل.
Pelting them with stones of shale, siji. The flocks of birds pelted the riders of elephants with stones of hard clay. We already discussed the meaning of sigil in our exposition of Prophet Lot's story. Fifth verse.
فجعلهم كعصف مأكول.
Thus he made them like chewed up, makul, straw, ka'ashf. Asaf means leaves of crops. Chewed up straw refers to such leaves the seeds of which are eaten, or husks that are emptied of kernels. There are 2 possible meanings here. First, after being struck by stones of dried clay, they turned into lifeless bodies. Second, the hot stones burned them to their guts. Some have interpreted chewed up straw as leaves of crops blighted and eaten by worms, causing them to wither and die. There are further suggested interpretations for the verse which are not compatible with the Qur'an's language. Examining narrations 1, it was the king of Yemen who sought to destroy the Kaaba. His name was Abraha bi al-Sabah al-Ashram. It is said that his kunya title was Abu Yaksum. According to al-Waqidi, he was the grandfather of al-Najashi, the king of Abyssinia, who lived during the time of God's messenger. After taking control of the kingdom in Yemen, he built a Kaaba there and topped it with golden domes. He ordered his subjects to make a pilgrimage to it every year, trying to match God's sacred house in Mecca. A man from Banu Kinana tribe traveled to Yemen and saw the house there. He also happened to squat there to answer the call of nature. When Abraha came in and found the excrement there, he said, "Who has dared against me by doing such a thing? By my Christian faith, I will destroy that other house so that no one would ever make a pilgrimage to it." He called for elephants and told his people and his followers in Yemen to prepare for departure. The majority of his followers were from the tribes of Ak, Al-Ashar, and Katham. After journeying a bit, he sent a man from Banu Sulaim to call people to make a pilgrimage to the house that he had built. But his messenger was confronted and killed by a man from Al-Hum's tribe, which is also a branch of Banu Kinana. That only enraged Abraha further, so he pushed his contingent on. He requested a guide from the people of Taif, and they sent a man from Hudhail tribe called Nufail. He went with them and guided them until they reached Al-Mughammaz, 6 miles from Mecca, where they camped. They sent their vanguards to Mecca, whereby the Quraysh scattered hither and thither into the mountain tops, saying, "We don't have the strength to fight such an army." No one remained in Mecca except Abd al-Muttalib b. Hashim and Shaybat b. Uthman b. Abdul-Dar. The former maintained his post of giving water to the pilgrims, and the latter kept his stand as the custodian of the Kaaba. Abd al-Muttalib clasped onto the 2 door jambs of the Kaaba and prayed, "My Lord, everyone would protect their object. Now we've settled at your house, would you not protect? Let not your plan and power be wrecked by the plots and crosses that by them are erect. From reaching our Qibla, if you wish to neglect, then decree as you will, and no one shall object." The vanguards of Abraha seized the camels of Quraysh, including 200 camels belonging to Abd al-Muttalib b. Hashim. When he heard of this, he left Mecca to meet the army. Abraha's doorguard was a man from Al-Ashar tribe who knew Abd al-Muttalib. He went in to seek permission for him to see the king. The doorguard said to Abraha, "Your Majesty, the chief of Quraysh has come to see you. He feeds the people in the towns and the beasts in the mountains." "Let him in," said Abraha. Abd al-Muttalib was a sturdy, handsome man. When Abu Yaksum, Abraha, saw him, he found him too noble to sit in a lower place than himself, yet did not want to seat him next to himself on his throne either. So he got off of his seat, sat on the ground, and seated Abd al-Muttalib next to himself. "What can I do for you?" asked Abraha. "Give me my 200 camels which your vanguards have usurped," Abd al-Muttalib calmly replied. "By God, I was quite impressed by you when I saw you," said Abu Yaksum, Abraha. "But now that you've spoken, you've turned me off." "And why is that, your Majesty?" "Because I've come here to demolish and destroy the house which gives you honor and strength among the Arabs. The house which sets you above and apart from the people, the house which is at the center of your religion and rituals. And on the side, I've taken 200 camels of yours. Now when I ask you what you want, you raise the issue of your camels, but make no appeal for your holy house. Your Majesty, I spoke to you concerning what belongs to me. The house has its own lord who will defend it. I'm not in charge of that in any way." Abu Yaksum was taken aback. He ordered the camels to be returned to Abd al-Muttalib, who then left. The night passed over the army with a gloom overshadowing the stars, as if they were speaking to them, whispering that some catastrophe was imminent, and their souls sensed the impending doom. At sunrise, birds with rocks swarmed above the troops and began pelting them with stones. Each bird had a stone in its beak and a stone in each of its talons. As soon as one dropped its stones, it flew away, only to be replaced by another one. If a stone stuck one's belly, it would split it open. If it fell on a bone, it would melt and pierce it. Abu Yaksum, struck by some stones, turned back and fled. In every land along his way, some part of his body fell off, until when he finally reached Yemen, his body was completely in ruin. When he entered his town, his chest split open, his stomach cleft apart, and he died. However, none of the members of Al-Ashar or Qatham tribes was struck. Authors comment, narrations disagree widely about the specifics of the story. Interested readers should consult the extensive books of history and prophetic biography, Sura'h. That brings us to the end of this wonderful surah that serves to remind us that we are answerable to our own deeds and no one else's. May Allah keep us from becoming part of the losers. I hope you enjoy this. May Allah bless you. Take care.